Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning.
It's gonna be an interesting live chat today
Yeah,
because we're gonna talk all about.
my foot.
Yes, we're gonna talk all about your foot. We are. We're gonna talk all about pressure sores because this is something that actually is really critical in the AMC community, right? This is something that AMCers have to worry about constantly because they wear orthotics and they go through casting, and pressure sores are a thing, and they're a really bad thing too. Like, you do not want to get a pressure sore. So I think it'll be good to kind of talk about this and go over what that is, how it happens, and what we specifically do to treat them and prevent them versus, other people might have their own ways, but
But this is how we treat them.
this is our way. Yep.
Our
Good morning. Hopefully, uh, good morning, everyone. Hopefully, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. Hopefully, the feed will cooperate today. I don't know if they've managed to fix the issues. I know that, let me tell you, before things start happening, people have been having problems lately during the live only, not during replays. So if you start having any issues and you try to leave and come back and it doesn't fix it and you're getting frustrated, feel free to leave and just come back and watch the video after the live is over, because there have been no issues with playing back videos after the live is over. But some people during the live for the last few days have been experiencing issues with the sound starts repeating, the video starts playing on a loop, the video starts spinning, it doesn't do anything, the screen goes black. There's been a few different issues that have been reported across many people. So, like I said, if you start experiencing anything like that, you can try leaving the video, close the video, and open it back up. You can try shutting down your Facebook app and reopening it and coming back. And if those things don't work and it's still happening, just come back after the live stream is over and rewatch it then, and it should be fine. No one has reported having an issue playing the video back after the fact. So Vicky says, I have spina bifida and currently have 3 pressure sores. One of them is really big, about 8 centimeters long. Yes, so pressure sores are a problem, not just for AMCers, but they're a problem for...
8 centimeters, about 2 inches.
Really? Anna says 8 centimeters is about 2 inches. That's pretty big. But yes, it's a problem for other people. Anyone who has constant pressure being applied to an isolated spot, and that pressure is not alleviated for any length of time, it can cause a pressure sore. And pressure sores happen, like I said, when the pressure is applied to the spot. But what happens with a pressure sore, it's really interesting. A lot of times when you get cuts or abrasions or injuries on your skin, it happens on the outside, right? Like, you might cut your finger on something and you can see it, you can see the cut, and it may, start to kind of get infected or fester, and it gets worse, and it kind of works its way from the outside in, right? But pressure sores don't work that way. Pressure sores build from the inside out. So by the time you can visibly see a pressure sore on the surface of your skin, it's already been festering and getting worse underneath the skin. And that's what makes them so hard to treat, because it's harder to heal when it's so deep into your skin, into your body. So we try to do everything possible to prevent pressure sores. And Anna has never had a full-on pressure sore. Like, I have seen pictures of other AMCers who have managed, what am I trying to say? I've seen pictures of pressure sores that have, like, become full-on pressure sores and broken through the upper skin layer. And it's pretty scary. And the problem is kind of twofold with AMCers, because so normally, I think with like someone else who has a pressure sore who doesn't have arthrogryposis, you could say, okay, well, we'll just take the pressure off of this area and we'll treat it and let it heal, right? And as long as we don't continue to put pressure on that area, then we give it time to heal and it'll be okay, right? But the problem with AMCers is that they have to wear their braces every day in order to prevent regression in their body, right? So
or KFOs.
they have AFOs, which are day braces, which help keep their feet from regressing and keep everything in line. And then they have sometimes some AMCers walk in KFOs because they can't walk in AFOs because they don't have the upper leg strength, and so they walk around in KFOs. And as you can see, this is a KFO, and this has even more points of pressure possible, right? There's even more places on this device that can cause pressure on your skin.
Can I show?
Yes.
Well, a couple of the different places could be like here. So if like the knee is like wide, it could kind of push into here, the side of these. The ankle part, or it could maybe cause one like with this white strap here, if it's pushing too much on the leg, or this one, because it's pushing too much on the leg.
There's a lot of spots. And in Anna's case, she wears these braces even in flexion at night. And so that gives her other points of pressure.
So maybe like here could be like besides this flexion.
But getting back to the point that I was trying to make is that with AMCers, if you have a pressure sore that's being caused by one of these straps, and you say, oh, well, we'll just remove the point of pressure so it can heal, they cannot go for a week without wearing their braces, because that's going to cause even more problems for them. That's going to allow their feet to regress. And then that foot regression can't be corrected without going and having treatment, like serial casting. So if they go any length of time, more than like a few hours, you can't even really a full day, their body already will start to regress. So that's the twofold problem with AMCers, is that when they start to have a pressure sore and you want to alleviate the pressure, you can't do that by removing the point of pressure like you would want to, because it's going to cause even more problems. So we have done a lot of research and trial and error and just trying things over the years to figure out how best to prevent pressure sores with Anna.
And we're going to tell you about it.
Well, so just real quick, I want to say that some of you have been following us a very long time. And you may remember that after Anna first had her leg surgery, there was a period of about a year to a year and a half where her body was going through a lot of change from the surgery, from growth, from not having proper orthotics. And she was constantly getting points of pressure that were just starting. And I was terrified of her getting a pressure sore. Like I said, she's never had a full-blown pressure sore. So I tried everything. I've tried all the things. I've tried the moleskin. I've tried padding. I've tried shifting, things around on her braces. Like, I've literally researched, read through all the posts in the moms group, talked to the doctors. I've tried everything. And the best method that we found for us to prevent pressure sores, if you're having a recurring issue, a lot of times where the AMCers tend to see it is in the ankle, and around this ankle strap. If you're having a recurring issue with pressure sores in the ankle area, the method that we have found that works best for whatever reason is Band-Aids. It sounds crazy, but I put 2 small Band-Aids over the top of her ankle area, and then 1 big Band-Aid over the top of that. And for whatever reason, it seems to form enough of a protective barrier, but it's not thick enough to create added pressure that it prevents pressure sores. Or at least it has for Anna. All that time in that year and a half that we had all of that movement and change and you know, the orthotics being crappy and all that stuff. For whatever reason, the Band-Aids did the trick. So I just want to put that out there for other AMC families. If you've tried everything, if you've tried the moleskin, if you've tried padding, and you're still having problems, give it a try. It just might work. But, so Anna has been having regression in her foot. Regression is what happens in people with arthrogryposis, especially when they are children. So, just real quick, I'm going to go back to the Arthrogryposis 101. Arthrogryposis is a rare condition that affects the joints and muscles. And so it causes in utero stiff joints, and as a result of the babies having stiff joints, it also causes weak muscle because the muscles don't grow properly. So babies are born with, like Anna was born with her arms stuck in a completely straight position. They were not bent like this. They were completely bone straight. She could not bend at the elbow at all. And her knees were stuck in a bent position. She could not straighten them at all. And because, like I said, because her joints were in a fixed position.
My left foot was almost turned upside down.
Her left foot, yep, was turned almost all the way upside down. Those were Arthrogryposis club feet. But because the fetus developed with her joints in a fixed position, the muscles did not develop properly. So that's why when you look at Anna and you look at adult AMCers, they're very skinny in their limbs. It's because there's no muscle tissue. They don't have the muscles like other people do. And there's no way to, you can strengthen the muscles a little bit, but you can't, they're never going to bulk up. They can't build muscle mass.
Like you guys probably can't lift like 20-pound weights.
Because the muscles are made of a more fibrous tissue. So they just don't bulk up the way that other people's muscles do. So that's why they never, like I said, if you look at adult AMCers, they have the same skinny arms and skinny legs because it's just bone and like a sheath of muscle tissue that doesn't build muscle mass.
Like enough for me to move my arms and my legs around.
So she had surgeries when she was younger to release her elbows. So you can see they do bend now. They bend passively, meaning that she can make them bend, but they don't bend actively, meaning that she can't utilize her muscle that she doesn't have to lift her hand up because there's no muscle there. It doesn't work.
I can only lift my hand up to like here without arching my back, and maybe here if I arch my back, but I can't get like all the way up there without smacking my face.
And you can swing your arm up, and you do swing your arm up to brush your nose or get your hair out of your face or whatever. But yeah, you actively cannot just lift your arm up, and that's just part of having arthrogryposis, right? So that's the deal with arthrogryposis. So what happens is after they're born, we do things like surgeries to the elbows, surgeries to the legs to get things in the proper position. They do treatments called serial casting, which is where casts are put on, the same kind of cast you would put on a broken leg, but it's put on with the specific purpose of molding the leg back into the position you want, the leg, the foot, the ankle. They're really utilizing the cast to do a forceful molding process. And so they put the cast on and kind of apply some pressure and force it the way they want it, and they leave them for 3 days. So it gives it a good long push in the right direction. And then they saw them off and they put on another set and they force it a little bit more. And then 3 days later they saw them off and they put on another set and they force it a little bit more. And that's why it's called serial casting.
But not the cereal that you like to eat.
Right, not the cereal that you eat. So, part of what happens with people, with kids with arthrogryposis, is especially in periods of growth, and as we know, kids are growing pretty much constantly, the body tries to regress or go back to the way it was when they were born. So throughout childhood with arthrogryposis, if you're doing treatments and you've done surgeries to make corrections, you are constantly fighting regression. And you're doing that with mobility, you're doing that with stretching, you're doing that with activity, you're doing that with maintenance treatment. Like every year, Anna goes back for more serial casting, which is coming up very soon. So
that's going to be interesting because that's going to be fun because the mommy always lets me the night before my casting to be in free feet.
yes, free feet days are coming. Those are the most exciting. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's not Christmas. It's free feet days.
That's my favorite day is free feet day or high heel transparent rainbow shoes day.
Yeah, that's Anna's treat that I've always done for her since she was little, is that right before we go in for rounds of serial casting, which like I said is approximately once a year, I allow her to have 1 or 2 nights of free feet where she gets to sleep in her bed with no braces and no socks and no stockinette, just bare feet, rub them on the sheets, roll all around, nothing in the way, and that's pretty glorious, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I love free feeties, love free feeties.
So anyway, so that's what regression is. And so here's what happens with regression. Let's put your foot up here so we can show. Yeah, scoot back. When the foot is corrected, it's put into a more straight position, like, you know, a typical foot would be. The heel is pulled downward because you want that heel down to make contact with the ground. Because what happens a lot with AMCers is that the heels get pulled upward. Don't worry, guys, she's wearing shorts. And so with Anna's foot, you can see, you might want to scoot back just a little bit more. Thank you. Okay. With Anna's foot, you can see how it curves. She's got this bump here. She's got a curvature on the side of her foot, and her heel pulls up. And so they'll straighten it with the casting, and we'll get new braces made, and it'll be in perfect position, and it'll stay that way for a while. And then things will start to regress, and that's natural. And the braces, like I said, they're meant, the purpose of these braces is not to help her walk. She can walk just fine without them. The purpose of the braces is to prevent regression as much as possible. Because if we did all those corrections to her feet and then had no braces, within like a month's time, all of that correction would be lost. But with the braces, it holds her foot in position, and it maintains that for usually about 8 months before we start to see things like this.
Like that.
This is the beginnings of a pressure sore. And so this is my red flag. This is my alert that says, hey, it's time to go back for some serial casting. It's time to go get some more treatment because we're regressing. And what happens is her foot curves back the way after, you know, we fixed it. It curves back again. And
it's kind of making like a quarter of a C shape.
Right, it kind of curves into a C shape, and then it pushes this part of her foot up against her why do I have the wrong foot? Up against the side of her braces, right?
Just like where that little dot is.
So now that I know that I've already called, we've already booked our Airbnb, we've already made all of our medical appointments. We're going to be going down very soon, and she's going to be having 2 weeks of serial casting, and she's going to get molded for all new braces. So a brand new pair of AFOs, brand new pair of KFOs. And that will fix the issue of the pressure sore and also get her feet back in tip-top shape, back into the proper position. And she'll be good to go for another 8 months. But in the meantime, we have to treat this, right? We don't want this to get worse. So what I did this morning was, first of all, we have to figure out what's causing it, right? And so I took, you can see that her braces have inserts. And this is new. We never used to have inserts before this last time around. But Matt says because she's bigger, the inserts are better now. So we've been using them. So I took the inserts out and I put it onto her foot. Barefoot. See, normally she has either socks or, can we bend this? Either socks or stockinette. And that reduces your visibility if you're trying to figure out what's going on. So you put it on the bare foot. Sorry guys for shaking the camera. And you kind of like look, all right, where is that in relation to this? And you can see that it's at this pad point. And so I went through and I marked with a Sharpie. That pressure sore is right underneath here, right? Mm-hmm. So is it her day braces that are causing the problem? I don't know. So then we put on the full brace.
No socks.
With the insert, with no socks. Can you bend your leg? And we fiddle with the straps. And we see, okay, if the strap is pulled over this spot, is that causing more pressure on that spot? I don't know. You gotta tighten it down, you gotta feel around, you gotta really look at it, right? So I did that. And then we did the same thing with the night braces. We took out the insert.
Put my foot in it.
Put the foot in it.
Bare feet.
Scoot back, please.
Oh.
There we go. Same thing. Kind of figure out, okay, where is that spot hitting that pad? And you can see I marked it right there. Same thing. Put the brace back on. You know, put the straps over and kind of get a sense. We don't have to do it, but you can see the point. If other moms are watching, you can kind of get the point. You've been doing your child's braces long enough to understand what I'm saying, is that you go through that process of assessing where is it happening, where are the points of contact, right? Figure out where the points of contact are. And so what I figured out in doing that is that with these two inserts, these are the points of contact. And if you feel in here, I know you guys can't tell just by looking, but if you feel in here, underneath this point of contact, the pad is very thick. It's very thick and it curves into the foot. There's like, you can see the kind of curvature of the plastic. It curves into the foot and it's very thick right there. On this one, it's a different part of the pad and it's thinner. It's more at the edge. And it's at this part where it curves outward, away from the foot. So what I have figured out is that it is not her day brace that is causing the issue. It is the night brace. And so, like I said, her foot has regressed. It is turning. Can I see your foot again?
I put it down because I don't
That's okay.
want to be in the way where you were trying to put
Scoot back a little bit.
things.
So you can see her foot is turning, it's curving, it's regressing. That's what it's supposed to do. It's an Arthrogryposis club foot. It's going to do that forever. But because it's turning and curving and regressing, it's pushing that part of her foot into this part of this pad. And at night, all night long, when she's laying there with her braces on, it's rubbing, 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 rubbing.
And can I tell you why?
Why what?
Why it's rubbing like that?
Why is it rubbing like that?
Well, usually when Daddy puts on my brace, he sometimes, when he puts on this ankle strap, this white pad is not in the right spot, and it's like over to the side a little bit.
Right, but
So
we talked about that this morning, and that is not the issue. It is just the fact that your foot is regressing and it's pushing against this purple pad. That strap is not making enough of an issue. I tried it. I've tried it both ways. So that's not the problem. So let me see your foot. So we've figured out where the problem is. The problem is, so the question is, how do we take that pressure off, right? How do we remove the pressure in that spot without causing additional regression issues? So like I said, we can't just leave this brace off. She can't just not wear her braces. That's not an option.
Can I tell him?
So we have to figure out how to fix it. And the way that I am going to solve this problem, and maybe other people might do it differently, but this is my solution. I know my child's body, right? And every AMCer is different. So this is why I say this is my solution, because another AMC mom is going to come along with the same problem, and the solution cannot be exactly the same, because all AMCers are affected differently. So just because this solution works for Anna doesn't mean it's going to work for another AMCer. So, and most mamas know that, but I want to make sure to say that, because you can try the same thing that I'm doing, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to work for you. Scoot back a little bit, please. Okay, so here's the thing. We've got to get the pressure off of this point, right? We've got to get the pressure off of this spot for at least 1 week, if not a little bit longer, to give it time to heal. So what we are going to do, or what I'm going to do, I've decided, is that I want Anna's leg, this leg, so these braces are to put her into flexion and extension every night, right? And the reason we do that is to maintain the surgery that she had on her leg. So she had surgery on this leg to straighten, she had surgery on both legs to straighten her legs, to allow her knees to bend and straighten. And the point of these braces that go into flexion, you can see the hardware, is to maintain that range of motion. But the nice thing is, and I guess we're kind of lucky, is that this knee prefers to be in flexion, right?
And then this one hates to be in flexion.
Yes, so this knee was the one that was super bent when she was born, and it likes being in flexion. And so this knee needs to be held straight more than it needs the flexion. Like we could push it and do a week without putting this knee into flexion, because it likes it. And so it's more important to keep that knee straight, whereas this one's the opposite. So what that tells me is that we can solve part of this problem by not worrying about stretching this leg into flexion every night. We can leave this brace straight for a week or so and allow, and that will help some. And so that's a good thing. The other thing that we want to do is get this ankle strap off of that spot, because if you see, I don't know, can you swing your leg up in there?
Yeah, but you should put the insert in, right?
Well, it's okay, never mind. I was just trying to show them. This ankle strap right here, this one with the white pad, is what goes over that part of her foot. So the other solution that I have figured out is, if we're only using this brace now for extension stretching, and it doesn't need to be used for flexion stretching, then this ankle part of her foot doesn't need to be held down, because with the insert in there, she's got this strap holding her foot down, and then she has all these straps up here holding her knee flat. She's got the patella strap, she's got a thigh strap, she's got an upper thigh strap. So,
and the middle strap.
So the point is that this brace can do its job and what it needs to do in holding her leg straight without the ankle strap. So that is a glorious blessing in this case, and we can safely put this strap aside for at least a week and not use it. And that will alleviate the pressure on that part of her foot. So she'll just have the sleeve, but it'll be loose. It won't be pushing into her foot, and that will alleviate the pressure. So that's what we're going to do for the next week. We are going to not use the ankle strap, and we're going to not stretch that leg into flexion. In addition, we are going to employ our Band-Aid method. Foot, please. We're going to employ our Band-Aid method for 1 week. And after 1 week, I will remove the Band-Aids. Can you put it up on the edge?
Can we go swimming the day before I do casting?
Yeah. We'll remove the Band-Aids and check on the pressure sore and see how it's doing. So I'm going to treat this real quick, because like I said, this is not a full-on pressure sore. You can see it's at this point, it's the beginnings of a pressure sore. Do you see how the skin is red? So that's the very first thing you tend to see, is the redness. And then you say, uh-oh, now we've got some movement. And that was the first thing I saw last week, and that's why I called Paley and said, okay, we got to come down. It's time. Made all the appointments, got everything situated. Well, over the course of the last week, there's been additional pressure, and you can see that white spot right there. That means that there is damage happening underneath, you know, like in that spot. And so that is like, I would say like whatever, stage 1 pressure sore or whatever. Like this, at this point, you start seeing that little white spot in the red, you know you got to get the pressure off of that spot. Get the pressure off of the spot. Don't let it continue. So we're going to
wipe it.
Clean it with an alcohol pad.
Stingy.
Yeah, a little bit. You can blow on it. Blow, 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 blow on it. We are going to apply some Neosporin.
Perfect. Mommy, you have 2 hands.
I know, but I'm trying to hold the phone downward, and it's okay. I don't need to right this second. But can you put your foot up on the edge so that it's not underneath the comments? Thank you. And then Vicky says people need to be made aware that pressure sores can appear in a matter of hours as opposed to days. They can. They can crop up very fast depending on how much pressure is being applied. So this is why I think it's important to know what to look for. And then we're going to put one Band-Aid over. The other one over. And then we've got, I love these ones. This is just to keep it down and give it that extra little oomph pad.
Oomph pad?
Oomph pad. Like the big guy.
The big old guy.
The big old guy.
Nice.
We're going to leave that on for a week. Now see, here's the thing. People often think that with pressure sores, you want to put some kind of padding between the pressure sore and the point of pressure. That is not, don't do that. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but if you think about it, the additional padding, all that's going to do is apply additional pressure. You've now added, additional force onto that part of the skin. So you don't want additional padding. And that's why I think for us, the Band-Aids have worked so well because they're very thin. They don't really apply, like you don't want to add a pad like this, right? Like you don't want to put this kind of pad in between a pressure sore and the point of pressure.
That just makes it worse.
Right. You want to remove the point of pressure and apply a thin layer of protection so that it can heal. Yes, Bonnie, she is outgrowing. She is regressing out of her braces. It's not already. It's been actually about 8 months since she had serial casting last. So it's right on time, actually.
Don't scrape it against there because I hate that.
So then we put the sock on. Sorry for all the movement, but...
What? These are such short socks.
These are short socks. How'd we end up with... Hey, babe? We ended up with short socks, honey. Can we get some longer ones? This is Why such short socks?
Take it off.
They might be able to be stretched up, but it'd be easier if we use the longer ones. Here, why don't you scoot back when Daddy gets here? He can help with your socks. So anyway, we've got that on now. We can put her socks on. We can put her braces on. We're going to use her day braces because remember we figured out that they're not the ones causing the problem right now. So she can continue to wear her day braces. However, out of an abundance of caution, because that's just the way I roll. I have also decided that we are not going to use the ankle strap on this side on her day braces. And the reason I feel comfortable doing that is because Anna uses Billy shoes. And the nice thing about the Billy shoes is they are very deep. And so we can put her brace in there without the ankle strap over the top. Can you put them on her real quick while I'm doing this? Thank you. And the shoe will do the work of the strap to hold her foot, hold everything together without the extra pressure of the strap being there, right? So that'll give her even a little more alleviation over the next week, because we won't have to worry about this ankle strap, you know, potentially continuing the rubbing. I don't think it will, but I just, like I said, out of an abundance of caution, I would feel better if there's no pressure on that spot at all, and we can give it that full week to heal up, and then we'll check it, and hopefully it'll be just a faint red spot in 1 week's time. That would be what we're looking for, is a faint red spot, and then we'll put another layer of Band-Aids back on, and we'll go back to using the ankle strap on the day braces, and we'll go back to stretching at night.
What? These are not even.
And things just okay. They just need to be pulled up. Anyway, I think that about covers everything that I wanted to cover. Hopefully that is helpful for some other AMC families. You guys want to watch her get her braces on real quick. I'm going to take this thing off my neck. Go back to holding you in my hand. Does anyone have any questions about pressure sores and what I just explained?
And how to do it. How to deal with it.
Yeah. I know, Tanya, Anna's hair is getting very long. All of our, we need to go back for haircuts soon. We're all due for a trim.
We have a, if you ever hear me saying toe sock, that's because the sock is not in the right position on my feet, on my foot.
No, Sherry, actually it will not keep her from swimming, because for one, it's not going to hurt the pressure sore to go swimming. For two, people who have been following us a very long time know that she always wore her Band-Aids. She used to have, Anna had swim lessons from the time she was like 2.5. And so she was at swimming a couple times a week, 2-3 days a week. And she would have her Band-Aids on, like I said, that first year and a half after her leg surgery. When she was 3, she had the Band-Aids on 24/7. They were always on. So she would go swim to her swim lessons with the Band-Aids, and they would still stay on. They're very, very strong. So they wouldn't fall off when she was swimming unless they had been on for like a week already. So usually I only have to change out the Band-Aids once a week, and they withstand the swimming. So she will still be able to go swimming.
Daddy, that part of my egg was
Fixed.
with my heel down in the shoe.
So, and this is kind of new for Dad. He's never dealt with a pressure sore before, so this is a new experience and new education for him to figure out where it's coming from, how to like detective research where is it coming from, what's affecting it, how do we stop it, how do we mitigate the damage and get back to where we started.
Okay.
Here's the trick. This is the
Okay, so
part.
pull that out.
Kathy says, should a pressure sore be kept moist? I have one on top of my foot from a boot I was wearing. I don't think it should be kept moist, no, but the Neosporin that I put on her, that will soak in within like today and tonight. And so it won't be kept moist. If she went swimming, then it would get wet again, but then it would dry. So because a pressure sore is, Anna, I'm speaking. Because the pressure sore is underneath the skin, you don't have to worry so much about moisture. It's not like when you have an open wound at the top of your skin and you want it to kind of dry out. You have to go back and forth between like ointment and letting it dry. It's not the same thing. Clearly, you don't want any parts of your skin to stay moist for any length of time because that can cause other problems. But getting it wet isn't an issue. So, but no, I wouldn't say you want to keep it moist.
All right, here's the different.
Well, I have a special trick.
So, we're just bringing it back around the other side, or how?
Yeah. So we're gonna hold that strap right around the back. Yes. So you put her front in first. Yep. And then slip it right up. And so it should tuck in around the side.
Should I pull it, wrap it around, or just
Nope.
like this?
Nope. Yeah, just leave it there. It should tuck right underneath the tongue, the top part. It should still zip up just fine. And then the laces need to be tightened slightly and tied up. Joyce says, "What kind of Band-Aids do you use?" They're Band-Aid brand. Band-Aid brand Band-Aids. Now, I know some people are like allergic or super sensitive to Band-Aids. I don't know. I don't have a solution to offer you for that because I don't have that problem. We don't deal with, she doesn't have skin sensitivity or allergies. So I'm sorry, I can't. I don't know. You have to find your own answers for that one. Yeah, Linda, they've got a lot. They've got a lot of super cute shoes for sure. We should own stock Billy shoes with as many Billy shoes as we buy, but it's fun for her to have as much of a variety in shoes as in her wardrobe.
How does it feel?
Oh, Terry wants to know how does it feel like that with the strap off?
It feels different.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit different.
Is it loose?
A little bit different, but is it
lighter? My left one feels like lighter.
Yeah.
Feel wobbly at all?
No.
No? Good.
I have a trick I wanted.
Hold on. Terry wants to know if the pressure sore is itchy.
No, it's not usually itchy. I mean, it sometimes hurts if you push on it, but it's not usually itchy.
But see, this is the thing. I wouldn't even technically call what Anna has a pressure sore. It's the beginnings of a pressure sore.
Like the beginning
A
stage.
full-on pressure sore erupts from inside and opens the skin. So when it breaks through the upper layer of the skin and starts to look like an actual open wound, that's a full-on pressure sore, and that is a whole other ball game. That then becomes almost like an emergent issue to deal with because it is so hard. You have to heal that from the inside out, just like it started from the inside out, and it takes forever. So the point here that I'm trying to make today is that I am hoping that people will catch them before that happens, because you do not want it to get to that point, because then it's so much harder to deal with. And we have thankfully never had to deal with that. She's never had a full-on pressure sore. She's only ever had the beginnings of the skin breakdown like you saw today. And then we get it fixed and corrected and we kind of deal with it. But yeah, pressure sores are they can get very bad very quickly, and you don't want to mess around with them. So you got to be diligent. You got to check the skin. You got to keep an eye out for those warning signs. And when you see them, you have to act fast. What is your trick?
So there was this little red spot across the top of my wrist.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was washing my hands before the live started to get the dog hair off my hands, I put some water on that. And now half of it has started to go away.
So the water helped?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you put water on just a red spot or just any spot like that,
It's a
anywhere,
miracle.
I think
it
it's
just kind of goes away a little bit.
Hallelujah.
I think it depends on what's the cause of the red spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if it's just like dry skin or something, then yeah.
No, this is not dry skin.
Debbie says, I'm a nurse and catching a pressure sore early is a big deal. Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, pressure sores are something that AMCers, it's part of our life. It's part of our existence. It's part of what's on our radar on a day-to-day basis. You know, every time you take your AMCers braces on and off from the time they're born until they start doing it themselves, if they ever get to that point, it's something that you have to keep an eye out for. So it's important. It's good information for people to know. And yeah, hopefully that helps. That's like the whole reason why we're here in the first place, is to relay information to other AMC families. And I know that other people, even not with arthrogryposis, deal with pressure sores like we talked about at the beginning. So hopefully that helps them too. And all right, we're going to go. That's it for now. We'll check back in with you guys later. We've got things to do. And
I actually have one thing to do.
what are you going to do? Today's Saturday. You have no classes. You have no obligations.
I have to finish up the shirt.
Oh, you're going to work on the Patreon shirt? Okay, cool.
Okay, but first before I start the shirt, I need to know who else I'm missing on the shirt for the
I
drawing.
don't know. Okay, all right, guys. We will see our A-Team subscribers tonight at 10 p.m. Promise, promise.
For real.
So if you're a subscriber over on mine and Aaron's A-Team page, we will see you tonight at 10 p.m. for that private live. Patreon family, we will see you guys tomorrow for our Zoom session. And everybody else, we will see you very soon here next time we go live.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.